All right, good afternoon. We're going to continue with our media availabilities here at Richmond International Raceway. We've now been joined by Denny Hamlin, driver of the number 11 FedEx Toyota. And Denny, coming back to your home track, a track that you have 2 NASCAR Sprint Cup Series wins, 3 NASCAR Xfinity Series wins. Just talk a little bit about what it means to come back to Richmond and your outlook on this weekend.
Yeah, it's we always look forward to coming back here. Obviously, here lately, our results haven't been all that good, but I think as an organization, we've struggled here over the last couple of years. But we're getting better. I thought that today was, a step in the right direction. We were better, even though overall speed doesn't show it. So either way, I'm optimistic that we could have a good night tomorrow night.
All right, we'll go ahead and take questions for Denny. If you have one, please raise your hand, state your name and affiliation, and we'll get in as many as we can. We're going to start up front with Jeff.
Jeff Glove from USA Today Sports. What exactly happened when you were playing, and do you feel what's the pain like inside the car as far as pressing the pedals?
In the car, I'm as comfortable as any place that I am. Obviously the swelling is the biggest issue. It hurts my mobility, and it kind of shuts down my quad, and so there's challenges there. But in the car, we ran 15 or so consecutive laps, which that's not a whole lot, but it was fine then. And what I was doing, I was just playing a league every week, and I was just exact same scenario as it was the first time. I had actually felt that I jarred it earlier in the game, and unfortunately, I tied the game up with 5 seconds to go, and so went to overtime, and I hurt it in overtime.
All right, we'll take our next question from Claire right here.
Claire Beeline, Sirius XM NASCAR Radio. What are you allowed to do? What are you not allowed to do as a driver in your side life? And also, what do you think the toughest part of it will be for you getting in and out of the race car or anything related to the racing tomorrow night?
I can do anything I want. Just don't break the law. There's really no provisions or anything like that. I think Joe does a good job of letting us, be whoever we want to be outside the race car. My activities really aren't that dangerous that I do. It just seems like, I have had some freak accidents over the last few years that's gotten us. But I don't think that there's been anything that's kept us from being competitive on the racetrack. The one time I missed a chase was from an injury that happened on the racetrack. So I don't think that these little side injuries have hurt our performance at all. I'm gonna continue to do whatever it is I want to do outside the car, and obviously, just try to better prepare yourself and get physically stronger. Will typically prevent injuries in the future. So, other than that, won't change much.
All right, we're going to go to Bob in the middle, please.
Bob Pockers, ESPN. In 2010, you decided to have the surgery when you had an off week, but you also said there was potential risk of injuring your knee more if you didn't have the surgery. Are you risking damaging your knee more over the next 11 weeks, or do you need that time for the swelling to decrease to actually have the surgery anyway?
Yeah, I think we had, with that off week, we had a bit of a buffer there of time to recover. I had moments outside the race car where I had buckling moments where my knee would give out and I felt like I was doing more extensive damage to it. So we had the off week to play with earlier in the year, so we decided to do it then. We don't have that luxury this time around, especially with the chase coming up next week. So I think that the best thing to do is just hold off and make sure we're 100% in the car, and if I'm what I feel like is 100% now in the car, just 3 days after, then the next 10 weeks I just got to be really careful outside the car, making sure I pay attention to every step so I don't have those moments again. But it looked like from what the MRI showed, it was I've damaged the same things that I damaged on the left. There was obviously the ACL gets all the hype, but there's more to it that gets knocked around in there.
We're going to go to Dustin next, and I believe we have 2 questions in the very back. Go ahead, Dustin.
Dustin Long, NBC Sports. Was there a consideration, or would there have been a possibility to have had the surgery this week and to have sought an exemption so that you could have been in better shape for the chase? And can you talk about the game and the shot you hit, and then exactly what you were doing when you got hurt?
Well, I thought about it, but I think that we were pretty confident that doing the surgery or not doing the surgery, either way I would be the same inside the car. So why skip a week if I'm going to end up being the same anyway? It's really just to improve life outside the car. Obviously, I'm going to go the next 10 weeks and can't do any running or can't, do anything active for the next 10 to 11 weeks. So that part of it sucks. But other than that, I mean, there just isn't a benefit to do it right now. And especially you don't know how you're going to react recovery-wise. And I thought I was pretty lucky the last time around. I was back doing back playing basketball really within 7 months or so, and which is pretty fast for an ACL. And you just don't know how your body will react to the second one. So I think it was safer for us to just let it go. There are people that live without ACLs all the time and walk around, and you never know the difference. But it's more the other activities that it hampers you with. So I thought the smarter thing would be just to fix it when we're done with the season.
All right, go ahead.
Huh? I mean, I'd like to. Yeah, I mean, it's what I do to relieve stress, and I have fun doing it, and it's the only way I'll go for a run. There's no way I could put on running shoes and go out for a 5-mile run, but put a ball in my hand, I'll go for days, or until I break something.
You're in the back, Denny. Sean Robertson, CBS affiliate here in Richmond. What can you take from your experience in 2010 with the injury to the other knee and use in these last weeks as you go into the chase?
I have been here before. I know what the recovery process is. I know what to expect. In the car, I felt like I was worse the first time around. I know I'm just 3 days out, but for some reason, I think I had like a week or maybe 2 or 3 before Daytona when I first did it. And I went to Daytona, and I felt a little bit uncomfortable in the car. This time, I mean, I'm only 3 days out, and it doesn't seem quite as bad. So I think it's probably because it's on the right leg versus the left. The left obviously takes a little bit more of a beating in the car. So I'll just learn really what I did to get back on track so fast, the recovery process, the rehab, and all that from 2010, and apply that to this time around. And hopefully my body reacts the same way.
All right, we'll take our next question in the back. Go ahead.
Jonathan Merriman, NASCAR.com. Denny, when you reflect back to 2010, and it's a season you had 8 wins, 14 top 5s, 18 top 10s, do you think that success was due to maybe a chip on your shoulder? Do people think that you were going to be down and out due to an injury? And do you think that'll carry over this year, especially when we're one race out of the chase?
Well, I think anytime you have adversity or something that you self-inflict on yourself, you typically you always have a chip on your shoulder to make sure that you're not the weak link. We try 100% every single week to do the best job we can, but we always seem to find 10% more when we're faced with adversity. So I think that, of course, 2010 was a great year. Our cars were fast and everything was going well. We're in a similar situation like that this year. where our cars are fast and contending for race wins. So I don't see why it should be any different. I expect to be part of the Final Four at Homestead once again, same as we were last year. I think we're running better now than what we were then, and we almost won it. So I'm pretty confident that the way these chase tracks lay out, there's nothing that should keep me from being in that championship four.
All right, we're going to go to Alan and then Mike Hembry. If I can get a microphone to Alan in the back, please.
Alan Cavana, Fox Sports. Denny, one report said Dave Rogers said you appeared a bit remorseful, at least in explaining to him the injury. I just wondered what you explained to him or the team, or what you felt you needed to explain to your team about the next 10 weeks. Well,
That really came from me knowing that I had tweaked it early in the game and didn't stop. I came out, but for a brief amount of time, and then it didn't feel 100%, and more than likely I damaged my meniscus at that point, and then once that got damaged, my quad probably shut down, and that's when I probably tore what I tore. So more than likely I was just frustrated that I wasn't more responsible with knowing that I wasn't 100% out there and I was trying to get more. And obviously when you're at the end of the game or overtime, you're always trying to give more than you're capable of. And my frustration comes from really I'm not that good anyway at basketball, so at least play within my limitations.
All right, Mike, go ahead.
Mike Hembry, USA Today. Should Gibbs be the chase favorite?
Joe's not a very good driver. Oh, well, I mean they've got some pretty good talent. I mean, I've said a long time ago that I've got three of the best teammates that speed wise and talent wise that I could possibly pick out if I had every single one of them to choose from. So I'm pretty optimistic. I think our cars are obviously very good right now, and yeah, I mean there's no reason why. I mean we all said in January that our goal is to have 4 cars at Homestead with the chance to win, and I don't see, except for bad luck, anything that can keep that from happening. There's some great competitors out there that will have something to say about that, but on a consistent week in, week out basis, you typically are looking at JGR cars to beat, and especially the way the tracks lay out in particular, I think it suits JGR well.
All right, we're going to come to our left here. Go ahead, Tim.
Hey, Denny, Temporal, the Richmond Times-Dispatch. Are you wearing any kind of brace on the knee or any limitations with it? And 2, I think Dustin, I don't know if I heard the answer, but Dustin asked, what was the shot that you hit that tied the game?
I don't have any limitations other than, just I can't fully walk on my own. I think I'm probably about a day or maybe 2 away from, ditching the extra crutch to walk around. So I think I'll probably get rid of that tomorrow. But other than that, it's just I got to start rehabbing as quick as possible to make sure that I can get my leg working properly so I can walk without having those buckling moments like I had in 2010. So I'll work on that. And what shot was it? It was just drove in the lane and made a layup.
All right, we're going to go back to Tom in the back and then up front to Jenna. Tom.
Hi, Denny. Tom Jensen, FoxSports.com. You seem very confident about your chase chances. You don't think this will set you back at all?
I don't think so. I think in the car, I'm going to drive as fast as the car is going to let me go. Especially today, I was more frustrated with making my car do what I wanted it to do versus being comfortable in the car. So I really don't feel like this will set us back at all. Like I say, if anything, it juices you up that extra 10% to make sure that you do your job 110%. And I think that I'll go out there and obviously go out there feeling like I need to go out there and prove that I am 100%. So I'll try to give it all I got. But I think that no doubt there's nothing that there's no injury right now that's going to keep me from what I want to do at the end of the year.
All right, Jenna, can you get a microphone to Jenna, please?
Jennifer, AP. Denny, you made the point earlier that you've only had one injury on track, but you have had all these other things. Why do you think that for someone who's as athletic and as fit as you are, why do you think all these weird things happen to you?
Some of it's bad luck. I mean, the eye thing at California, I mean, I went to the Infield Care Center 3 days in a row saying there was something there, and they just couldn't find it. They didn't have the tools to find it, and so I had to sit out that week. Carl had the same thing I think last week, and they found it, and it's gone. So it's like, I had bad luck on that one. The neck thing at Bristol, I don't know what happened. Something got popped out of joint, and unfortunately, the girl that usually works on me was not there to get it back, and she got it back on Monday, but it was too late. But just had those spasms, and I knew that I was in no shape. I could have gone out there and finished the race, no question, but I would have just been 10 laps down more than likely. So I thought it was an opportunity. We had a win to step out and make sure I didn't have anything further that was going on, because we didn't know what was wrong. And the other two is these knee injuries and the back thing that happened on the racetrack. So I think it's part of just being active. You have accidents. There's a lot of guys that do a lot of active things on Saturdays that they get hurt and doesn't necessarily get wrote about because they try to hide it. But I feel like I do things. The things I do or less risk. I've just had a really stroke of bad luck when it comes to some of the injuries that I've had.
All right. Unfortunately, we're going to have to cut our time a little short. We're going to take our final question from Nate. Go ahead, Nate.
Nate Ryan, NBC Sports. Denny, I know you're hardly the one to think about worst case scenarios, but now that the surgery is sort of hanging out there, if you were to get eliminated from the chase, would that be something you consider doing just to get it done, or is this something where you can grit it out and make it the rest of the way, or maybe that's a motivation to stay eligible, that you don't have to face that question?
That's a good idea, and I'll take your advice. Use it as motivation to not get it done. So, I actually had not even thought about being eliminated. That's how confident I am right now that we're not going to. So, if we do, I don't know. You want to finish the year strong, and I think the way the points all work out, you still can move up to fifth or something like that. So, I think either way, off season is going to be the best option as long as I can make it that long.
All right, Denny, we appreciate your time today, and we wish you the best of luck this weekend.
All right, thanks.